Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today is the day someone is expressing their acceptance of Krishna. Who supposed to do that?
Hare Krishna
Mother
Prabhuji.
Nilambari Radha? Yes. Please
So,
go ahead.
uh, Hare Krishna Prabhuji and Matajis, please accept my humble obeisances. And after coming across the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, I came to know that things should be accepted in light of Guru Krishna, Guru Sadhu and Shastra. So I didn't know this concept earlier, but today when I think about my journey back, I realize that it happened according to Guru Sadhu and Shastra only. It started with books of Srila Prabhupada, like Bhagavad Gita as it is. And being born in India in a religious family, I naturally had faith in Bhagavad Gita and inclination for a pure austere lifestyle. But after reading from Srila Prabhupada, I got some philosophical foundation and basic concepts. So then I realized that whatever Srila Prabhupada was speaking, it was exactly from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam or other Puranas. He was very crystal clear in his understanding, and he was never bewildered, even when surrounded by thousands of people, different types of people like atheists or Mayavadis or reporters and all other people, non-devotees. So when he used to, like, his all teachings were exactly from scriptures, even when he used to quote examples like water the root and the whole plant would be nourished. Or so in the same way, if we serve in devotional services, then we are done with all our duties. So later I realized that first I thought that this example was his own example, but later I realized that even this example is coming from scriptures. So in that way, I developed faith that Srila Prabhupada was completely aligned to Shastras. So if Srila Prabhupada is saying that Krishna is Supreme Lord, then I should accept it. So in this way, Srila Prabhupada became original Siksha Guru for me. And if we talk about other references, like if we talk about conclusion of scriptures, then I also accepted based on Shastric reference that words of Srila Prabhupada that Srimad Bhagavatam is essence of Puranas and Bhagavad Gita is essence of Vedas. So we read many verses from these scriptures, like Bhagavad Gita says, Vasudevam Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sutulabha. Or Bhagavad Gita also says, Devi Esha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya. And Srimad Bhagavatam says, Krishna Su Bhagavan Swayam. Or Save Punso Paro Dharma Yato Bhaktir Adhokshaja. So these are the references from Shastra. And Puranas also say that Narayana Brahma Jayate, Narayana Rudra Jayate, Narayana Prajapati Prajayate. So various references are there which quote supremacy of Krishna. And if we want to hear from Krishna himself, then he says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. And he says, Matta Paratararanya. And then in 15th chapter he says, Yo mameva sammudho janati purushottama sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. So it means Krishna declared his supremacy that he is Purushottam. And he also mentioned what is Purushottam Yoga. So in that way, that these are the references from scriptures. Now, if we talk about the conclusions from sadhus, so sadhu means devotee. So other acharyas and great personalities also accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like Brahma says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Shiva says, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradhanam Param. Or Srivas Shankaracharya says, Narayana Paro Avyakta. Or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, Ekale Ishvara Krishna or Sabapratya. So these are the wordings of great acharyas and other acharyas also like Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya. Now, finally, if we talk about Krishna's pastime, then in Srimad Bhagavatam, everyone offers prayers to Krishna and everyone has accepted supremacy of Krishna. So, we read that whenever demons created trouble after getting benediction from Brahma or Shiva, Lord had to intervene and handle it. For example, Krishna appeared in the form of Narsimhadev. Now we need to understand that it is not that Krishna had to personally appear to kill Hiranyakashipu, or Krishna was not able to kill him by violating the benedictions given by Brahma, like Hiranyakashipu could not be killed during daytime or using some weapon. But the most wonderful thing is that after meeting all these conditions of benedictions, Krishna appeared in the most wonderful way just to keep words of Brahma, who was his devotee, as well as to reciprocate with Prahlad, who is very dear devotee of Krishna. So he is not only Supreme Lord, but very loving and caring and very, very Bhaktavatsal. So considering all this, I developed a desire to connect to him in very loving relationship. And I hope and I pray that by mercy of Guru, Krishna, and by mercy of all Vaishnavas, I will make some progress on this path. So I pray for blessings of you all. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Whatever you did. Very nice. Wonderfully. I hope you can write the whole things that you, because not everybody is familiar with those verses, because those are so important verses. Actually, this will heal our heart and it will help us to focus one pointed. If we have those reference from the acharyas, from the scriptures, from the himself, and from the past times, as she mentioned, as Aditya Narayan Prabhu also other day, yeah, I mean Monday, it's Monday, yes. These are wonderful, wonderful preparation. I really urge both of you, if you can put it on the WhatsApp after you have time, if you write it up. Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate so much Mother Nilambudi Radha Devi Dasi. Also, she sent, we should thank her. She sent this in the chat. I send you the Papo Parma cycle runs from the ignorance to the seed. Actually, she put it together and she sent it to me for approval, and I looked at it because she helping us also. Now, Saptadevata Prabhu, do you have somebody for Friday? Who is
Hare
arranging
Krishna,
for Friday?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you have asked me to do on Friday. Vikas Dubey here.
Okay, so Friday because Prabhu is doing. Wonderful. Thank you. Now, Saptadevata Prabhu is doing. He is going to express how he is accepting Krishna and grateful attitude to Prabhupada.
Yes, I have noted that, Prabhu. He told me that he's going to do on Friday.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay,
Friday,
yes, Mother Kara.
Yes, Prabhu. Like last time, it seems that your bandwidth is low and we are getting a broken speech at some points. Did you hear me, Prabhu?
You are still, you can, am I not audible clearly?
That's correct, yes.
Am I audible? Okay.
It comes and
Then I'll
goes.
turn off the face in case if you see it, you can let me know.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. So I need a volunteer. What about Mother Kara? You can read it and
Okay, I can read. Yes.
okay, go ahead.
Okay. Chapter 10, Giving the Name to the Unfaithful. Haridas, with folded hands, spoke on the next aparada. Because he had not developed any faith in Krishna or the name, the materialist cannot even hear the name. To take up the name, one must have qualification. That qualification is faith, and faith alone. Good caste by birth, good family, knowledge, social influence, or strength in educational qualifications are not the cause for qualification to the holy name. The only qualification is faith, and faith means to have unflinching conviction in the glories and the powers of the name. That is the statement of the scriptures. If one does not,
Mata. Hold on, please. This is a very key point. This faith is the key point. Actually, I want to just say something that even in my life, the progression actually begins rigidly if you have a strong faith. So I want everybody to remember this. What is the devotee association means? How much faith do you have? It depends what quality of people you are living with,
Prabhu, your voice,
exchange with.
Prabhu, your voice
Oh,
is
voice is cracking too.
Yeah, we are not able to hear you properly, Prabhuji.
Is that better?
It still
Yes.
says your network bandwidth is low. That's what it shows. Maybe.
Maybe you can re-log in and then we can check again.
What happened? Is that sounds better now?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I want everybody to please make some key points in your heart or in your memory or diary, wherever you keep track in your consciousness. The connection with the saints or advanced devotee produces faith. Because you will have when you see somebody don't have a faith, because they don't have a good association. If you see somebody is a very advanced and he has a strong faith because he has a good association. As simple as this. Please remember, faith can see reality, Krishna. There is a world which is only approachable. Golok Vrindavan is only way approachable by faith. Shraddhamayam loka. Just as now, if I say, let's see, Aruna Nayana Prabhu, you have a some kind of a burgundy, or I cannot see it, burgundy wall in your back. Is that true? Okay, let me pick somebody else. Who's I cannot see when everybody has a like a, okay. Satta Devata Prabhu, you have some books in the back.
Yes.
Okay, because let me see. In your back there is a sky color wall. Is it true?
Yes, Prabhu.
Is that color is seen by the eyes or by my mind?
Eyes are seeing, but the mind is the one which is connecting and telling the eye what is the color.
Okay. How am I hearing that it is Satta Devata Prabhu? Is my eye or the ear?
all of our senses are reproductions, Prabhu. It is none of
No,
it. None of it
no,
is
no. Be
actual.
specific. Be very specific. Here, I hear you, Mother, but do I know this is you by the eye or the ear?
By the ear.
Yes, by the ear. That world, Golok Vrindavan, can be perceived only by faith, just like you have a particular senses for a particular function in this world. Spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan, you can be wherever you are, but if you want to approach Krishna in spiritual world, without faith, impossible. Literally impossible. Only faith can see, can hear, can feel, can touch. The supreme reality cannot be perceived with any other senses. Faith is the real function of the soul that is awakened by the agent of Vaikuntha or Golok Vrindavan called Guru. Without Guru, your faith cannot be awakened. Without devotee, without senior devotee, your faith will not awaken. This will answer everything. If you say, well, why don't I feel close to Krishna? Because I don't have a good faith. I don't have a good association of the devotee. I hope everybody is understanding. Faith is a real function. Faith is the real function of the soul. By faith, one's association with saints increases. By this transaction, the culture of reality takes place. And gradually, this process makes us become fully conscious. And at that time, Prabhus and mothers, you will realize that this world in which you are living is all transient. And our real home is elsewhere. You are a, what's the word? Homeless. You'll be kicked out when death comes. Our real home is located in the world of pure consciousness. Faith is the only means through which we can see, hear, and feel the higher world. This is so important. Otherwise, it is meaningless to us. Many things may come to help or hinder us, but only our optimism, good faith will be your guide. Please remember this. Your good faith will be real guide from within you. I tell you something, I was reading other day, Srila Prabhupada says in a lecture, very interesting. He said this movement, ISKCON, started from faith. Foundation of our movement, Srila Prabhupada said, is my faith. In Bhagavad Gita 2.41, you can read also. Srila Prabhupada asking us to be faithful to the spiritual master. Whatever he says, whatever your spiritual master says, Prabhupada said, I take it as my life and soul. Not so interested in my salvation, but interested in the words of my Gurudev. Whether I will be successful or not, I will have faith in the words of my Guru. Now, Bhagavad Gita 4.34, I'm sure most of you are, maybe all of you are aware. 4.34. Srila Prabhupada says, very interesting. He says, blind faith is condemned. So now you have to be very careful. What is blind faith? He said, just like this, blind faith is condemned. Not only should we hear submissively, we need a clear understanding in inquiry and submissive. And then Prabhupada says, when the student is ready to be submissive, the disciple can receive the real knowledge from Guru. Now, faith means hope in infinite, means Krishna or Golok Vrindavan, Vaikuntha, you can say spiritual world as you like. Faith means, what is faith means? Hope, hope. You know the word hope, H-O-P-E, hope. Without hope, there is no hope even to be here. So Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur says faith means hope in the infinite. And Shraddha means good faith. Just as there is a place called Cape of Good Hope. Shraddha means surcharged with good hope in the infinite Krishna. It is infinite. If we wish,
Prabhu, you have broken up. We cannot hear you, Govinda Prabhu. I'm sorry.
by Shraddha alone,
Prabhu, we cannot hear you.
by Shraddha alone, is that better?
Yes, Prabhu.
Is that sounds better? Okay, I'm coming closer to them. By Shraddha alone, we can attract the infinite. When Shraddha develops,
We lost you at when Shraddha develops.
neat form, after progressing through you
Prabhu,
have
we-
Bhagavad Gita 17. If anyone has a Bhagavad Gita 17 chapter last verse. Am I not audible? Yeah.
Yes, we lost you that once Shraddha develops and then nothing else.
Oh, when Shraddha develops a definite form after progressing through ecstatic emotion, Shraddha will become divine love. The same Shraddha. You may say, where is this from? Prabhupada said, 17.28. You can read the last paragraph. I don't have it in front of me, but if you have it, you can read. Somebody. Last
to achieve-
paragraph, you'll say,
To achieve success in this way, one must
yes.
first find the proper spiritual master and receive training under his direction. Then one can achieve faith in the Supreme. When the faith matures in course of time, it is called love of God.
Okay, hold on, Prabhu. That's good enough. Do you understand what Prabhupada just said? Faith and love of Godhead. What is the difference? It's the same substance. Everybody understood this? It's the same substance. It's just like a little baby growing up to a big girl. When he's a big girl, is love of Godhead. When he's a baby, is Shraddha. It's the same substance. In the beginning, it will be difficult to comprehend or examine. Just have a faith on a faith. Just have a faith, and as you mature, you will see, you will feel tangible. That doubt will disappear. You know, a mundane example was given when Columbus, I'm sure you all know, I even studied in my village, I studied in India. When Columbus set sail, after a long voyage, finally arrived in America. He reached the land of a good hope. Do you know the myth they had before he left? Actually, if you reach the edge of the flat land, you'll fall off, finish. But what Columbus had, somebody can help me? Faith, hope.
He had faith. He had faith that he will see the other side of the land. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. But you know how many opposition he had? Majority in that country, majority. Not even 50%. So we can use even mundane example to just give us comfortable. Yes, I have to have a strong faith. Whatever Krishna says, Prabhupada said, I have to have a strong faith. But just by saying will not be enough. You have to have a good devotee association who has a faith. And Maya will create also so many soul will come and get contaminated and they will say something wrong. Because bhakti is easy, at the same time it is not easy because you have a conditional life. Other day I mentioned this, I hope you remember. There's a fundamental identity and there's a functional identity. And functional identity is what builds us, everybody. I'm a man, just like yesterday, one nice devotee, long time, he makes a very good, rich man. He told me, I love sex, but I don't know how Krishna consciousness, I'm being hanging around, I don't find that happiness. I said, did you go to any senior devotee to actually challenge that, whoever is tasting it? No. I said, then where it's going to come? From the sky? It will drop, Krishna consciousness? It will never come to you. You have to go approach a devotee who are in the reality. You want to see the reality? By the association of those who are already in reality. Please remember that. Shraddha is our light in the darkness. This material world is tamosha. Tamosha ma jyotirgamaya. You heard those verses. The Shastra is saying that go to the light. What is light? Is the Shraddha, faith. In the word of Prabhupada, word of Krishna. Only Shraddha can guide each of us when we are travelers in the infinite. And it's a fact. We have heard that this is the way to that place. That spirit will keep our hearts enlivened. The definition of Shraddha is given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm sure you all heard it. Faith is the firm conviction. Please remember this. Faith is the firm conviction that by serving Krishna, all other purposes are automatically served. This is so important, you have to memorize eternally. Krishna bhakti koile sarva karma krita hai. If you don't remember the sloka, is okay. Mahaprabhupada used to use that sloka so much. The translation, my way of thinking of translation, that faith is the firm conviction that by serving Krishna, all other purposes are automatically served. You ever heard no risk, no gain? Sure.
Yes.
Sure. I did a horrible job when I was a teenager. I mean, it's not I'm ashamed of it. I used to do a black money exchange, you get the dollar from the Westerner in Calcutta and go to the black market and you get rupees more than, and then you keep 1 rupee in between. So every $1,000 you get 1,000 rupees, just like this. But it's so much risk. I'm not saying anybody should do that. I mean, that's up to you. But I did it because I needed the money. And I was doing this every day. And it was so risky that you could get caught and lose all the money. And even one time I saw even police was like coming to the new market in Calcutta. I remember I was so frightened. But I learned something. No risk, no gain. This is faith to me. The greatest risk, greatest gain. Because one day I made 30,000 rupees. Those days, 30,000 rupees was a lot of money. It's like almost $1,000 in one day. It was such a risk. I would not do it ever. But teenager, I was like a little Anyway, so I also reflect back the greatest risk, greatest gain. Krishna reassures. I was surprised that Krishna actually revealing through that, the Krishna reassures, I am everywhere. There is no need to be afraid at all. Do we believe this? Ask yourself, do you believe this? When Krishna says, I'm everywhere, then fear should have gone. Because faith is not there. Just realize that I'm your friend. I'm all in all. You are mine. To believe this is your only fare for the journey to the land of faith. So I'm going to end with this. Faith means, what did I say? Hope in the infinite, Krishna. Shraddha means good faith. This is very important, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur says. Just
Prabhu,
as there is a place called a Cape of Good Hope, Shraddha means surcharged with good hope in the infinite.
Prabhu, I have a small query. Is it okay to ask?
Sure.
So, Prabhu, you said that if you have a faith, that fear will go away. So, from my personal experience, Prabhu, that I do have a faith. It has not kind of, faith has been right from the childhood. However, it is not completely into nishtha, if I can say that way. So, what happens, Prabhu, that because my state is contaminated, or I'm intoxicated by those four things like Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, which is there, in the testing times, sometimes memory goes away. And sometimes the thought process itself has been disturbed. And I have seen like, even though so that shelter is there, and in very hard times, that shelter only has made me sail over. However, in very testing times, the mati go guts bhram. So when you said, Prabhu, that if you have a faith, there won't be any fear, I was not able to kind of um, relate it with my experience, Prabhu.
Okay. What is the reference of your faith?
So that this is a big question, Prabhu, but in a nutshell, I have been inquiring within my head about many things right from childhood. So in terms of like analyzing many aspects of it, meaning of life, many times, what people do, how ancestors and culturals have been moving, why do people do, what they do, like in family life. So with many aspects, I used to believe in Bhagwan at that time, not Krishna as such directly, but Bhagwan, that Bhagwan is there. And for me at that time in childhood, Bhagwan is like all the gods whom I used to pray and go, and there was no thinking about it, that what I'm doing, or, or there is no goal for that at that time. It just, it so happened culturally you do that. And I keep questioning and inquiring myself many things, even what happens after death, what is death, things like that. So I always had this sense of belonging of that higher power, which slowly in the journey started getting clear by knowledge of satsanga or acharyas and the sastras. But still, Prabhu, even in today's time, sometimes when time is against you, your whole brain thought process functioning gets disturbed. And I had some turbulent times, and at that times, though faith was there that I will survive and I will sail, but you get still disturbed.
Was it worse than Draupadi's?
Oh no, Prabhu. No,
Okay.
Prabhu, no way.
See what Draupadi says. Very interesting. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Jaiva Dharma, he says, if I recall, paraphrasing, the faith means faith that follows scripture's teachings. See, when she approached her husbands, Bhishmadev, each one, Dronacharya, even as the king, Dhritarashtra, she went all of them, and everywhere she was deprived. But then she finally surrendered to Krishna. It's not that she was not surrendered, but she wanted to establish a truth also. Krishna was guiding through her. Then she uttered the name of Krishna, Govinda, Pratigya. You have promised. What is it? Name bhakta pranashyati. Then Krishna just appeared right then and there. Later on, she had a conversation with Krishna. So why it took so long? I was just curious. Krishna says, you did not call me. You went through this God, that one, this one, that one. You tried. I was there. But when he says, Govinda pratigya tava, name bhakta pranashyati. So when we have a faith, we have to have a faith back up by an authority. Hoping is one thing. Hope is good. But faith, when we say Shraddha or faith, that means something backing my believing, maintaining that belief, trusting that word. Then Krishna will act. That's why in the beginning of Harinam Chintamani, I asked you, I hope everybody remembers. Each one of you have to have a one sloka about the holy name that in front of you, you memorize. You cannot tell me that you cannot have any sloka. No, it is not possible. At least you have to have an authority backing what you are thinking. And because Prabhu, at least you are fortunate enough that you at least had a faith. Even though many gods, like Hindus do, that's all right, but at least you had some faith and you got disturbed. But now you can look at another angle. Krishna says, if you have just faith on me, you do not need anybody else, and you try from that angle.
That's
You'll never be deprived.
Prabhu, that I have, with God's grace, with Krishna's grace, my faith has always been within him. But you know that, Prabhu, that point of Mata Draupadi you said, and I remember that very clearly, that Mata Draupadi was holding within her teeth the sari, and she tested everyone, and at the last, when the sari got dropped from her teeth and she put her hands up, that second Krishna came. That second Krishna was like, the sari started getting extended. So
that is external, but internal, what was her? That is our focus on faith.
So I felt, Prabhu, there that Mata surrendered at that time with complete nishtha, and I think that's
yes,
that's very deep,
yes.
Prabhu. But the question, Prabhu, what I'm trying to understand, Prabhu, here is that when faith turns into nishtha, Prabhu, that becomes like something very firm, like how Srila Prabhupada ji had. I always felt that he had nishtha. It's just not faith, it's nishtha, like it's very formed, it doesn't move.
This is interesting. Anyway, end of this, maybe after chapter 15, next week, we are going to go to that one, 6 stages of conscious evolution. I didn't want to talk today about it, but some idea about the 3 stages are materially motivated. Our faith is motivated by material perception, material intention mixed. When we come to Gyanamaya, then it is real faith began. And we'll discuss that. Thank you for bringing that point. We'll discuss that and you will be happy.
You have given me answer, Prabhu, by this, what you just said. So the faith mixed with the material contamination, and that I am aware of. So okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Kara Mataji wanted to say something. She was raising her hand.
I was just,
Okay.
is it okay, Prabhu? I was just going to share briefly. Krishna gave me experience to answer this question very recently. I had to take car to shop, and it was my father's car, so he is with me, and the shop is saying, oh, it will take half day. And I had class, this was Monday. So I come, already halfway through the day, and I say, will there be time? And they said, oh, we don't know, maybe the car is still being worked on, and then, you will have to come back tomorrow to pick up. And my father knows I have no other option to pick up car. And he becomes very distressed, that I will not have way to go if they are not finished working on car. And I say, it is not my problem. This is Krishna's problem. He will take care. It is no big deal. And he goes, well, what if, Kara? And I said, well, then I will walk home. There will be Krishna's arrangement. Someone needs Krishna consciousness along the way. It is only 3 miles. What is problem? And so my father is very distressed, but I am very peaceful because I just know that I will go. I will take care of it. I have things to do, next day. So I know it will be fine. I have faith, and I just surrender to the process, and I go sit there. I'm prepared to sit there all day till 5 o'clock. And I sit there, I'm reading right now the Mahabharata. So I am just reading this. It takes almost less than an hour and a half for them to fix car. So like this, my father isn't distressed the whole time, but I'm completely calm and very happy just to sit and read. And so it is like faith and
There you
surrender.
go.
And
This is a practical example. Very good. Thank you, Mother Kara.
Hare Krishna.
Very good. It will be a good journey after when we come after next week. A practical experience. Wonderful. Okay, we keep on reading.
Yes, of course. If one does not have faith, a real Vaishnava will not give him instruction on the name. That is the behavior of a Vaishnava. For it is the faithless man, for if the faithless man takes the name, he will simply offend it. For instance, if one casts pearls to the swine, they will simply grind them to dust. Or if one gives fine cloth to a monkey, he will tear it to pieces. If the faithless take the name, they will kill themselves from their offenses, and simultaneously, he who gives the name to the faithless will lose all his devotional credits very quickly. Sometimes a faithless man, being envious, will beg the name from the Vaishnavas, but the Vaishnava should understand that he is a cheater and refuse to give him the name. To take faith in the name.
One second, Mother. Hold on. There are 5 points a cheating mentality person contemplate. I'm not saying any one of you have this, but because I have this, I could relate, and I want you to remember this. You can examine your consciousness, whether there is any taint with those 5 points of cheating mentality in the spiritual process. Okay, go ahead.
To take faith in the name, one must give up the cheating mentality and the desire for position and fame. The cheater is thinking, by taking the name, I no longer have to fear committing sinful activities. By becoming a Vaishnava, everyone will pay dandavats to me, and I can get all sorts of service from others. Whatever position I lost by my previous activities, I can retrieve by chanting japa. By this process, I can become very happy in this world. This is the cheater's mentality. For qualification to the name, one must give up this attitude. Prabhu, were those in that paragraph? Those are the 5 points of cheating, the mentality? Yes? Okay. When one has come to...
Yes.
Yes. When one has come to have faith in the name without effort, he will receive the name. And by the name's influence, he will cross the ocean of material existence. But as long as one does not have faith, one has no qualification or capability. One should give up desire for position in the material world and become humble, listening to the glories of the name from scripture and Vaishnavas. If the Guru gives the name to a faithless man.
Very good.
Yes, Prabhu?
One second, just what is a question will come in MCQ, but I want you to also ask yourself a question. What is the proper response when a faithless person requests to enter into bhakti? And this chapter is giving very clear. I hope you can reflect it and write it. Next question is, when guru or senior devotee should be afraid of a disciple or an object of affection, there are three key points. If you can see it from this paragraph that she is about to read. After this, then Satyadevata Prabhu can read.
Okay. If the Guru gives the name to a faithless man because of desire for wealth or material possessions, by that offense to the name, the Guru will go to hell. If by misfortune or accident a Guru gives the name and instructions to a faithless person, he should have great fear. He should confess in front of the Vaishnava assembly and give up that disciple. If the Guru does not do this by offense, he himself will become devoid of bhakti and will wander in illusion. The Lord Chaitanya gave the order to give instruction in the name everywhere, but that means to give it to the faithful men, and by that perfection will be reached. One can produce.
One second, Mata, one second. Let Satyadevata Prabhu read, but in between I have one very fine point. We every day introduce Krishna consciousness to others. Is this contradicting what we just read?
I have this question, Prabhu, since last week.
I always have.
Especially in the offenses to the 10 offenses to the name is giving the name to the unfaithful. But here we go in the street, talk to everybody, give the Bhagavad Gita, put the Bhagavad Gita book even the faithless person's hand as a part of book distribution. That always puzzles me. So I will humbly ask for clarification on that one.
Two things we focus here. One thing is we are follower. We are not on our own. We are spiritually employed by Lord Chaitanya under Prabhupada's direction. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Whoever you see, give them Krishna consciousness. Now, we are following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's view, and Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada says one time he was contemplating that if I tell to Americans when I arrive that I have come here to make Brahmana first by quality. So one teacher, Allen Ginsberg, he used to come also. He was a kind of a hippie. He was a poet. He was a very famous in hippie times. And so Prabhupada relate this story that if I tell them that you have to follow 4 regulative principles, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, no meat eating. So what they will say, pack up your things and go back where you come from. Because this is American culture, it's impossible. But then Prabhupada says, but I had a strong faith on my Guru's word. I'm trying to follow his order. So we have to do like this. Even the Shastra refers, has to be under guidance of senior devotee to understand. Because sometimes you may get confused if you read Shiva Puran, Shiva is glorified as a supreme.
Yes. In Devi Puran, Devi is glorified as the supreme.
Yes, yes, it is there just to attract those souls to eventually to bhakti. But there is a misunderstanding in between, there is a quarrel in between the groups. But the ultimate purpose is to bring them close to Krishna. There is no other purpose.
And even I couldn't understand that for last many years, Prabhu, somehow was not able to get right answer for that one. For example, in the Devi Puran, and it is written in the Markandeya Puran, Agastya Maharshi, Agastya Rishi tells a sloka called Lalita Sahasranama. In that one, there is a sentence which says that unlimited Vishnus are coming from the nail tips of the Devi.
Yes.
And that is a conversation by not an ordinary person or somebody concocted. It is a conversation between Agastya Rishi and one more famous personality. And how come Agastya Rishi, who is such a known person, why would he distort the truth and say that the lady, the Devi is the highest supreme, and she creates Narayana in a split second like this? I was not able to understand even now that one.
It's the same issue. Why did Lord Shiva said in a Sankaracharya form that we all are God?
And all these Puranas are written by, again, Vyasadeva, who is incarnation of the Lord.
Yes, but the Bhagavatam is the essence of all Purana and Veda. Sarva Vedanta Saram hi Srimad Bhagavatam Ishyate. Tad Rasamrita Tirtasya. So Vyasadeva ultimately came to this point. Now, this is a very wonderful question you have asked. So I want everybody to remember that example I mentioned, that practically what I saw, that in the emergency when I was there in the hospital for my friend who cut his finger, Arjuna Prabhu, I was waiting 3 hours because my friend's finger cut is not as important as the other patient. So they are taking long time to see us. But then I saw also one lady came from outside. As she approached the reception, immediately they escorted her to a private room inside. And that made me very angry. And I went to approach the receptionist. I said, why do you do this? You are ignoring us and we are also here. And it seems like you're very partial to some people. And then the doctor was nearby. One doctor came and spoke to me. He said, if this lady stays even a few minutes in the receptionist area where 30, 40 people are there waiting to see the doctor, the infection that she has, it is so contagious that all of you will get sick. We had to isolate her just for the sake of protection. It clicked in me. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, my Lord, all this philosophy you have created in this world only for your merciful nature to the conditioned soul. Now you may say, what was the purpose? Because the contamination of some soul are so horrible that just by meeting them, just by conversing them, your pious credit will disappear. It's such a contamination. Just to separate them from the innocent public, Krishna has created this. So many hodgepodge philosophy, just to protect innocent public, so they can become devotee. And those who are argumentative, those who are don't want to surrender but philosophically inclined, they don't want to just accept anything, just to keep them peaceful. I saw that here. Why Buddhism is very attractive? Because there is no question of surrender to anybody. And they come from that angle. So it becomes very easy for them. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes that, my Lord, I literally say goodbye to all those philosophy. But I understand also that it is your arrangement to segregate the hopeless person to another side for the benefit of the good side. Please remember this. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, that is your design, my Lord. All this philosophy, not only them, even Jaimini Karma Mimamsa is a horrible, is atheistic philosophy. But it is Karma Kanda. People actually follows this. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, they are also your agent. They are serving you in some way because nothing is outside you. But as a devotee, I bid goodbye to them all. I feel in my heart, I shall show respect to all these so-called agent, so-called philosophy from a distance. However, my only real capital is the dust of the holy feet of pure devotee. I rely on their dust as the source of all my prospect. I seek to put all my energy into taking the holy name and stay with the devotees. So we must also respect Shankaracharya. He is an Acharya, even though he actually propagated against bhakti. But it was not his intention. He didn't even want to do it. In Brihad Bhagavatamrita, he said, I didn't want to do it. Do you know who can actually hurt you the most? One who knows you the most. So Lord Krishna told Shiva, you know me so well, you can actually go against me in a crooked way that those atheistic mentality, they can keep away from innocent public so they can come to bhakti. Hiranyakashipu, if you read 7 Canto 2nd chapter, you will be surprised that his explanation about the soul and this material world, just like Bhagavad Gita, even better sometime to me. I was like surprised many years back. How can he speak so eloquent? And Bhagavatam emphasized this importance. But then the key point our Acharya says, he told to the audience, all demons, that God is merciful. Wow, he knows God is merciful. But then he says, but he forgot his merciful nature, and by the help of material nature, he took the pig body, Varahadev, and killed my brother. Now, did somebody catch what I just said? This is Mayavadi. They believe that God takes the form from the material nature. The form of the deity is marble. The form of the Krishna to birth in this world. These are Mayavadi philosophy. Even though it looks like, wow, it's so subtle. Yes. Devotee means they believe Krishna only descends from Golok Vrindavan. He is not a product of this world. He is not made of matter. Try to remember holy name actually descend on your tongue. It's not that you are chanting, but it appears like you are chanting. But the faithful devotee will see that you are not chanting actually. You are just aligned with your attitude, devotional attitude, where holy name descend from Golok Vrindavan on your tongue. This is proper. Because once you become actually pure devotee, Almighty Supreme Lord is your buddy, friend. Why it should be that easy? It is not that easy. At the same time, it can be, if you have a strong faith. That's why faith is a big issue. And all those philosophy are made just to divert those kind of contamination disease away. Do you know that any city created the prison house, built a prison house, did not invite anybody to come? You will never see a sign says, welcome, please come, do something bad and come to prison house. No, never, nowhere. But then question is why they build the prison house? Because they know some people will break the law. Every city in America has a big prison house. But government never advertise that come to prison house to stay. Never. But they know for sure that some will break the law and they have to put aside. Why? So that normal people can live harmoniously. Similarly, all these philosophy are created, corrupted, just to divert those corrupted people. That's why in advancement, you need a 4 qualification. Your love for God, your affection for with the devotees, respect to the senior devotee, compassion to the junior devotee, friendship with equal friends. And third is merciful nature to the innocent. And fourth, disgard. Disgard those who are opposed to bhakti. Without these 4 qualification, you cannot become pure devotee. No Uttam Bhakta became without these 4. You have to have these 4, compulsory. This discrimination power you have to have. Love for God and reciprocation with the devotee. 3-way. Respecting the senior, affection for the junior, friendship with the equal or peer, and merciful to the innocent. Anyone knows what Prabhupada said, what percentage of the population in this world are innocent? And what percentage of the population are actually opposed to bhakti? Anybody knows? One time Prabhupada says 90% are innocent. They really ignorant. They don't know what the truth is. And the little percent, 10%, you don't need to preach them if you are not capable. It's better you avoid. They will create a problem. And they still create a problem within our society. Prabhupada said even some envious people will join in the society just to disrupt. And we see that in the internet. Some people horrible write something.
Yes.
They join just to disrupt. This is all Prabhupada already said that. He said we can ignore them. There will be some people come to the movement and they will demand position, prestige. We don't need those kind of respect to those envious people. But they will come. Prabhupada said that. It's very interesting. He saw it, he writes it, and he warns us. And it's happening. We see that. We should not be disturbed by this. That's why we have to be compassionate to the innocent. Innocent are like flower. You pluck, offer it to Krishna. Bring those innocent children to Krishna. But don't offer thorn from the rose garden. I don't know if anybody ever offered thorn. Hello, my darling, I love you. Here is some thorn for you. I don't know. Nobody ever did that. I hope not. These are called envious people. They look like a human, just like me, but inside they have a contamination, heavy dirt. They are envy to God. They hate actually God. But they have gentle, look, smile. It's like a very nice. But intention is horrible. One devotee told me day before yesterday, he said, I had a relationship with my old friend. Long time back I met, he's a doctor. So he's a devotee. And then he says, it was wonderful. Like after 30 years, I got, he was a successful, he's not married yet. He said, I thought maybe I'll just have a relationship with that girl that I grew up in my childhood. And I'm in America, she is in my birthplace country. But after conversing for a little while, she said, well, we have so many common things, but only thing that I don't want you to ever ask me about God conscious. I have nothing to do with it. I don't have any interest. It's horrible in this world. Anybody believes in God. And he called me, he says, Prabhu, this is a surprise. She's so nice. All of a sudden, as soon as we started talking about Krishna, she's like completely turned out different person. I said, well, it's up to you. You can be compassionate, merciful, and make her devotee if you are powerful. But if you feel weak, then she will drown you. So you take the risk. So we have to be very careful. If you are strong devotee, you can do it. Do you know in a car ride, Prabhupada even said, he was riding a car. He said, we have to be very careful from the Mayavadis, impersonalist. And then he says, but some are joining now in our movement. I'm thinking like, oh my God, he's seeing it. He's initiating it. And he's stating it. How much more clear cut, but he was so powerful. He had a power to actually convert them, not convert, reform them, bring back to their original as a servant. But we should not play that game if we are not strong enough. Rather, it will disturb your mind. You won't be able to even chant for a days. So that's why Shastra says these 4 principles you must follow before. If you want to become pure devotee right now, you must follow this 4 principles. And that verse is there in 11th canto. You please read it. Okay, we're going to finish the reading. Satyadevata Prabhu. I'm
Yes.
sorry, I went on.
You don't know where? I will tell you, Prabhu.
If one does not take the precautions, I think that's from where.
It was actually a little bit before, Prabhu, into the paragraph.
Lord
3.
Chaitanya.
One can produce faith.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
You're welcome.
One can produce faith by loud Sankirtana, and when the Jiva attains faith, he will seek out a bona fide Guru. From the Guru, the faithful man will take the holy name and then easily achieve prema. When thieves, prostitutes, and rogues are made to give up their sinful mentality, one can give them instructions on the holy name. In this way, the name can be spread everywhere. If one does not take these precautions, being guilty of aparadha, one will go to hell. If the disciple commits offense, the Guru has to suffer in his devotional progress. In this circumstance, both the Guru and the disciple go to hell. O Lord Chaitanya, being more merciful, you must give faith to Jagai and Madai, and then you gave the name. So wonderful was your personality that you covered faith in all men. The Vaishnava should try to follow in your footsteps. Whoever takes pleasure in devotion to the feet of devotees will be decorated with this touchstone jewel of the holy name. Hare Krishna.
Very nice. Very nice, very nice. So this is the verse in, I would actually request you to read this verse 11.45 in Bhagavatam 11.2.45 to 51. Different category, but one category is called intermediate, means Madhyamadikari, is a pure devotee, pure devotion began. You don't want to be Kanishta. You have to rise above. You have to go beyond neophyte. You have to come to intermediate. Because Srila Prabhupada says every member in ISKCON should come to this intermediate, pure devotee. By his power, by his mercy, we can come to that. And that's why you will see all these things written that four principles you have to follow. And more you practice, you can actually do it. So I'll end here with the idea that can faith and doubt both be used spiritually? Because we do have. I was thinking very deeply while we're reading today, because we went off a little bit different angle. How can we use a practical example? A functional car needs to have both. I'm sure you all drive car, right? Okay. A functional car needs to have both an accelerator and a brake. While driving, when you are on the right track, we can press the accelerator to go faster. And when you are going off track, we can use the brake to stop. I mean, we do that always. Correct our course. Same principle you can apply to our spiritual journey, wherein our body, mind is like a vehicle. Because you are not the body, neither mind, so there's like a car. And faith is the accelerator, and doubt is the brake. So if you look at the Tadviddhi Pranipadana Pariprasnana Sevaya 4.34, it gives a very interesting point. Prabhupada writes that sloka points to this complementarity when it urges us to seek truth by combining a submissive service attitude, Prabhupada says, analogous to faith, an inquisitive spirit, analogous to doubt. Faith helps us to move ahead on the path confidently and swiftly. We may gullible follow a path that leads us not to enlightenment, but to illusion. We need to complement faith with doubt, thereby equipping ourselves to evaluate various truth claims. Everybody got it? A vehicle, a car, with only the accelerator and no brake can go fast in the right direction. But if it veers off course, it can go fast in the wrong direction too, right? I hope you never did it, but it can. You can see that. Similarly, if we have only faith and no doubt, we'll go fast, not just on the wise path, but only on an unwise path. It makes sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
So are you saying
a vehicle with only the brake and no accelerator will go very slowly or may not go anywhere at all if it is uphill or bump or whatever. Similarly, if we have only doubt and no faith, we will sentence ourselves to paralysis by analysis and won't be able to follow any spiritual path. So what is the lesson? On our spiritual journey, faith is like accelerator that we can use to go rapidly on the right track. And doubt is like a brake that can use to avoid going on the wrong track. So in that way, you can use the doubt in the spiritual journey. And it is healthy. Necessary actually. Any reflection?
Yes, Prabhu. So I have understood that doubt has to be at a leash, when to be left for inquiry and when to control it. Uh, because sometimes informations can be quite misleading. And I had that experience in the past, because as you were saying, Prabhu, sometimes the words look so attractive that it looks like almost true while they are not. So we have to kind of doubt our own thought pattern, or doubting our own thinking sometimes is important.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for understanding that. One more reflection, then we can close.
Only by good devotee association we can develop such strong faith, because a deepened faith is equal to the love of God.
Very good. Very good. Always also bring some reference. 17.28. It's beautiful purport Prabhupada gives this.
Yes, yes.
Because even I tested this yesterday. I said, that you have to have a faith, otherwise no love of Godhead. He said, how about I only want love of Godhead, I don't need faith. I said, you really misplaced. You'll never get love of Godhead without faith, because it's the same substance. We understood. Thank you so much. I'll see you all on Friday. Vancha kalpatarvesya kripa patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All the assembled Vaishnavi ki